Good morning to one and all. Welcome to Vignas University. Myself M. Bhargavi, working as a STEM professor in the Department of CSE. The next topic you are going to discuss in this web technologies is document object. So what is meant by a document object? So whatever the content you will return inside the HTML document comes under the document object. So this object represents a different HTML document elements. Nothing but whatever the content you are going to display in the corresponding browser window. Next, so what is meant by document object? So it represents that each HTML document that gets loaded into the web page is termed as a document object. So this is the diagram for the document object. So initially document is a root object. In that you will have different anchor tags, form tags and different link tags. So inside the form tag you already discussed different text fields, text area, checkbox, radio buttons, select button, reset and corresponding submit and reset buttons. Within the select you are having the option tag. So all these contents what you are going to display on the web page will comes under the document object elements. Next you are going to discuss about different methods available in document object. So first method is write. So how to write the corresponding method? Document dot, what is the method name? Write. So what is the purpose of document dot write? It is used to display some content on the web page. Nothing but it writes the given string on the document. So how to write the corresponding string? Within the double quotes you have to write the corresponding string to display the content on the web page. Next, what is the purpose of write-ln method? So with the help of write-ln, so it will write the given string in the new line. Nothing but whatever the content you write inside the write-ln, it will printed in the new line. Next, coming to the get element by id. So what is the purpose of get element by id? It returns the element having the what is the value you had given in the corresponding text field. For example, if you take a text field, if you want to get the value of this text field, you can use get element by id. So what is the id? So it will be the attribute of the corresponding control. For example, if I had given id equal to name. So how to write this thing? A document dot get element by id. So within the corresponding brackets, you have to mention the name of the id. So based on that, it will return the value of the corresponding control. For example, if I had given 5, so this value will be stored in the corresponding variable. So next, how to access the corresponding text field? So already we discussed in the previous slide how to get the value of a text field by using document dot get element by id. So you are also having another way to access the value from the corresponding control by using document object. So what is the way how to access the value from the corresponding controls? So if you want to access the value, you have to write like this: document dot form1 dot name dot value. So what is meant by a document? It is a root object. So whatever the content you will write inside the web page, so they comes under a document object. So what is this form1? It represents the name of the corresponding form. And next, it is the name of the corresponding which control you want to access the value. So what is meant by the value? It will return the value of the corresponding field or a control. So here a document is the root element. Next, what is meant by a form? It is the name of the given, it is the name given to the corresponding form. So how you will write the form tag? So form. So how to give the name to the form? So you have to use the attribute name. So name equal to form1. So here you will write the different form elements. After that you close the form tag. So here form1 represents the name of the corresponding form. So what is the next thing you are going to discuss? That is name. So what is the name represents? It is the name of the corresponding input text field. Nothing but if you take a text field, for example, input tag. For the input tag, you can write the attribute name, like name equal to some first. What is meant by this name? So it is used to identify the corresponding control. For example, you may have so many text fields. How to identify a particular text field? With the help of this name attribute. And next, what is meant by the value? So it will return the value of the corresponding control. So now example for the document.form.name.value. So for this, here I am taking a function within the script tag. So first look at the body part. So what you had taken in the body for the form, I had taken name equal to form1, and next here I am taking two input fields. If you see here I am taking two input fields, but here I had given type equal to text. So what will be the output? You will get a text field. So what is the name? Do you have given any name? Yes, that is enter name. So enter name. So you will get a text field. What is the next input field? Here you had given type equal to button. So what will appear in the web page? You will get a button. So what is the name on the button? So what is the name on the button? If you see here, what is the name on the button? That is print value. So this name will be appeared on the button. So whenever I click on the button, so here you had written on click equal to a print value. So whenever you click on the corresponding button, it will call the function. What is the function? That is print value function. So what is the content I had written in the corresponding function? So see this document.form1.name.value, nothing but, so document means whatever the content you are writing inside the web page. What is the form1 represents? So it represents this form. So I had given name equal to form1. Next, what is meant by the name? So if you see here, for the input type equal to text, I had mentioned name equal to name. So what the name mentions here? It will identify this corresponding control. And next, what is meant by the value? So it will return the value of the corresponding text field. So whatever the value I will enter in the text field, it will be stored into the name. Okay. For example, I had given Bhargavi. So this content will be stored in the variable name. Now what I am doing here, with the help of the alert dialog box, I am displaying welcome plus name. Nothing but it will display whatever the content I had given here. Welcome Bhargavi, it will display on the corresponding browser. Now see the output for this program. If you see the output, so enter name and you will get a text field followed by the button. So whenever I click this button, what will happen? So it will call the corresponding function. What is the function here? Print value. So what is the content I had written in the print value? So whatever the text I will enter here, it will be displayed on the alert window. So after clicking the button, you will get an alert box. So displaying that, so welcome Bhargavi. Okay. So this is the way how to get a value from the corresponding text field or corresponding controls with the help of document object. Now you are going to discuss about HTML events. So JavaScript interactions only with the help of JavaScript interaction with HTML is handled through the events. So this HTML event can be something that is nothing but a browser can do or something a user does. Nothing but a browser may display a window or the user may click any button or close any window. So all this comes under events. And next, a JavaScript can be executed when an event occurs. If you see here, you are having two events. One is on click event and one other is on submit event. So when the on click event will occur, so whenever the user clicks the HTML button, HTML elements, nothing but like pressing a button, it is nothing but an on click event. So what is meant by on submit? Whenever a form is submitted. So this is nothing but on submit event. So first you are going to discuss about we are going to discuss about on-click event. So this is the most frequently occurred event in the HTML elements. So how this will occur? Whenever you click on a button, so there you have to use this on-click event. So you have to give like on-click equal to, so to call which function you can give, you can specify here. On-click equal to what is the function name you want to call. So if you see here how to create a button, you can take input type equal to button, or directly you can write the tag, that is button tag. So button some ID equal to 1. So like this also you can create a button. So or you can give input type equal to button. So whenever the button is clicked, nothing but it is a on click event. So it will call some function, that is some print value. If you see in this image, I am clicking the corresponding button, then it will generate the on click event. So next you are going to discuss about on submit event. So when the on submit event occurs, whenever the user submitted a form or nothing but a registration form, then the on submit event will occur. So it is an event that occurs when you try to submit an application form. So how to, where you have to write this on submit event. So within the form tag, you have to write the on submit event. So on submit equal to validate form, nothing but it will go to the backend for the validation. So if you see here, whenever you click the submit button, the corresponding form may be submitted. So this also results on submit event, or whenever you may have automatic submissions, that also result on the on submit event. Now you are going to discuss about data validation. Why you perform a data validation? If you want to get a correct data from the user, you need to perform data validation. So what is meant by a data validation? It is the process of ensuring that whether the user input is clean, correct and useful. So you must collect the information from the user which may be clear and it must be clean and correct. So you can perform typical validations on a registration form, like you are able to check whether the user entered all the required fields or not, and next whether the user entered the valid data or not, and next one more validation you can perform, like the user entered the text in a numeric field. So you have to check whether the user entered any characters in the numeric field. Like this you can perform certain validations in your registration form. So most often the purpose of validation is to ensure correct user input. So next, so validation can be defined by many different methods. So you can perform validation at two places. One is at the client side and one the other at the server side. So what is meant by a server side validation? So it is nothing but the validation will be taken care by the web server. And next, what is meant by a client side validation? Here the validation of the data will be taken care by the web browser. Nothing but here you will use JavaScript in your front end technologies, nothing but JavaScript. You are using the JavaScript in your browser. So what is meant by client side validation? Nothing but by using JavaScript you will validate the whatever the user entered the data is correct or not at the client side. So next you are going to discuss about JavaScript validation. So JavaScript is a client side validation, nothing but you are using JavaScript in your front end technologies to make the validations at the client side. So this will reduce the processing at the backend server. Now what is meant by a form validation? Nothing but validating a registration form. Nothing but, for example, if you are registering in your Vignan University, you will fill some VSAT applications. There you will enter your particulars. At the end, whenever you click the submit, then the website will check whether the user entered the correct data or not. This is nothing but validation. So you have performed the validation at the client side. So form validation is the process of making sure that the data supplied by the user meets the criteria or not. Nothing but, so whatever the data entered by the user will satisfy the criteria or not. So first one, you are going to discuss different validations in this videos. So first one is performing a validation at the performing validation on username. So if I am taking a text field, nothing but I am giving a name, username. So what are the different validations you are able to apply for the corresponding text field? So what are the rules you may follow? Like I want to make the user to enter a name, nothing but he does not give an empty field. He must enter something in the text field, like some text like ABC. Like this, he must enter some characters. Nothing but the field must not be empty. What is the next thing? Only characters. The field must accept only characters. Some may enter numbers, but what is the condition you are applying here? The user must enter only characters. And what is the next rule I am keeping? That is that the name must be 5 to 15 characters. So here I must enter minimum 5 characters and not more than 15 characters. So this is the validation I am giving to the corresponding username text field. So if you see here in this GIF image, I am giving a text field. So whenever you are giving the corresponding characters, it is showing the validations. So what are the minimum criteria you have to follow while entering the username? So when you give all the correct values, then it will show say tick mark. Nothing but, so the corresponding text field is satisfying all the validations. So this is the example program for the user validation. So for the user validation, here I am taking a function name validation. So before that, go to the content in the body part. So what is the content I had written in the body part? So if you want to take a single line input from the user, you need a text field. So if you see here, within the form, I had taken one text field, that is input type equal to text. What is the label here? Your name. So how the output will be? Your name, and you will get a text field here. Next, you are giving input type equal to submit, nothing but in the output you will get a submit button. So what is the name you had given on the button? What is the name you had given on the button? That is submit. So this is the output generally you will see in your browser. So whenever I will enter a name ABC. For example, this is my output in the web page. For example, I didn't enter anything in the text field and simply I will click the submit button. Now for this I want to check the validation. So in the function what I had written, how to get the value of this text field, I am using a document.form.name.value. So with the help of this line you are able to get the value written in the corresponding text field. So did I enter anything? Nothing. So now what will be the value in the A variable? Null. So for this I am checking the condition, if A equal to null. So now the value is true. So what the alert box will display? So enter your name. So whenever I click the submit, then your browser window will display an alert box showing that you must enter your name. Enter your name. It will have an OK button. Okay, now so here you are validating whenever the user is entering the null value. Now what is the second condition I am checking? If is not a numeric. Not a numeric is nothing but here you are checking whether the user entered the numeric characters or normal characters. For example, I will enter 1, 2, 3 and I will click the submit button. Now this condition will run. So what I entered here? Numbers. Now again I am validating the text field. Now what the condition I had shown in the alert box? Now the alert box will come and it will display the content that please enter only characters. So please enter only characters. then you will have the OK button. So here you are asking the user, he must enter only characters. So next checking the third condition. What is the third condition you applied for the text field? That is, the user must enter minimum 5 characters and not more than 15 characters. So for that I had written the condition, that is a dot length. So what is the content will be there in the a? So whatever the text I had given here, it will be stored in the a variable. Now a dot length. So it is checking whether the value containing less than 5 characters. For example, I will enter ABC. How many characters are there in my text field? Only 3 variables. So now it will go inside. If a dot length less than 5 or a dot length greater than 15. If you are having less than 5 characters, then what it will display? So your characters must be 5 to 15. Like this you can validate your text field. So next you are performing a password validation. How to validate the password? So here I am putting a rule, that is the password must be 6 to 20 characters. That is nothing but not less than 6 characters or not more than 20 characters. Next it must at least contain one numeric digit and one uppercase and one lowercase. So these are the conditions I am going to apply for my password. So if you see in this GIF image, the user is entering some value. If we get any errors, then here it is displaying the error. That is nothing, please lengthen the text, or like this you can validate the password field. Now see the program for the password validation. So again see in the body part. So within the body, what is the name of your form? That is form 1, and next here I am taking one password field. So for this, what is the output? Enter password, you will get a text field. And next, what is the next field? Input type equal to submit, nothing but you will get a submit button. So whenever to check the password, you need to check the conditions in the function what you are writing. So what is the conditions I am writing in my function? So what is the name of my function? That is check password, and within the password, to get the value of this text field, what you have to do? To get the value of the text field, you need a document dot form1 dot text. What is the name of my text field? So what is the name of my text field? That is text1. So to get the value of this text field, you have to give the name here. So based on this only it can identify. So from which element you are accessing the value. So text1 dot value means, so whatever the value you have given here, this will be stored in the corresponding input variable. Now I am checking the password. So what are the conditions I had given for the password? Your password must be 6 to 20 characters and it contain at least one numeric digit, one lowercase and one uppercase. So this is called as expressions. So these are called as regular expressions. So this expression indicates that A to Z means you are able to enter small characters, you are able to enter uppercase letters, and your password must contain minimum 6 to 20 characters. So this is the regular expression I had given for the password validation. Next, if you take a password that matches all the conditions, then it will check input dot match of pass. Then if it matches the corresponding required validations, then what it will display? Correct. Otherwise it will display wrong. Like this you can perform your password validations. So next you are going to perform email validation. So here I am taking a condition for the email, that is your email must have @ and a dot characters, nothing but. So you must include @ and dot characters in your email. Next one is a word before and after the @ symbol. So you must specify the characters before and after the at the rate symbol, and next, so afterward 2 to 3 characters. So after dot, it must contain any minimum 2 to 3 characters. Nothing but, for example, CSE@gmail.com. For example, if you take, this is a valid email, nothing but, so must have, you are having at the rate and dot symbol. If you are having at the rate and dot symbols, and next, so words before and after at the rate. So if you check here, so before the at the rate you are having characters, and after at the rate you are having characters, and next, after dot you must contain 2 to 3 characters. If you check after the dot, I am having at least 2 or 3 characters. So this may be a valid email. So for this, check the program. So check what is the content in the body part. So within the body, so what is the name of your form? Form 1. And next, here I am taking a input field, that is enter email. Enter email. So this is of type text. So you will get a text field. And next, whatever the thing I am taking next, type equal to submit. So you will get a submit button. So this will be the output for whenever you run this program. Now how to perform a email validation. So for that, you have to check the content in the function. So if you see here, how to get the value from the text field, by using document.form1.text1.value. So this is the name of your corresponding text field. So if you see here, what is the name of your text field? Text1. Next, so here I am checking the email. So this is a regular expression that is satisfying your conditions. That is, so before at the rate and after at the rate you must contain characters, and before dot you must contain characters, and after that dot you must contain minimum 2 to 3 characters, and you are also able to enter at the rate and dot symbols in your corresponding email address. So now this regular expression will be stored in the email. Now how to check the validation? For example, I will enter the mail, that is CSE@gmail.com. gmail.com. So this is the content I will enter in the text field. Now it will check with the input dot match of email. So whether the given text will match the corresponding regular expression. So it is satisfying all the conditions. So what it will display? It will display an alert box showing that it is correct. So an alert box will contain the OK button. So now whatever the user entered the email is correct. So like this you can perform the email validations. In the same way, you are able to apply different validations to your phone number, or also you can check different branch names. So like this you can perform different validations in the corresponding client side. So this is the example I am giving to you for the assignment. So if you see here, I designed a registration form. So I am having totally 5 fields with a button. Now here what it is doing in this GIF image, whatever the content they are entering, so every time it is performing the validations. So here we are performing the validations at the client side. So by using all the previous programs, you must write this program. So based on this output, you must write a program performing all the validations for the corresponding fields. Okay, thank you.